The moon crown burned another highborn lady before she had it past her brow, and the sound she made split my great hall like a struck bell. I did not flinch. I had watched this same failure for 3 days, and my wolf had gone quiet inside me the way a hunter goes quiet before he knows the whole forest is empty. They lifted Lady Serwyn from the dais, cradling her reddened hands, and the herald called the next name. "This is Craghold, the mountain hold my fathers built to guard one thing, a circle of pale moonstone that no woman has worn in 7 generations. The old kings called it the Luna's crown. The old kings also died without their true mates, and the crown slept cold on its granite pillow waiting. It will not take her either," my war chief muttered at my shoulder. "Nor any of them." "No," I said, "it will not." I had summoned every noble daughter of the ranges to the trial, not because I wished a wife of convenience, I wished the opposite of that, but because my people were afraid. A hold without a Luna is a hold with a hollow at its heart, and hollows draw wolves of the wrong kind. So I made them a promise before the whole court, and I meant it as truth and not as pageantry. "Only my true fated mate can wear the moon crown," I had told them. "The stone will know her when I cannot. Until it warms, this dais stays empty, and I will wed no one." Lady after lady climbed the 7 steps. The daughter of the ironwood pack, who was proud and did not weep when it scorched her. The twin heiresses of the salt coast, who tried together and were refused together. A silver-haired beauty whose father had brought 300 spears to press her claim, as if the stone could be bullied. It could not. It rejected her as gently and as absolutely as it rejected them all, a flare of cold light, a hiss, and the crown gone dull again. By the 3rd dusk the hall smelled of fear and tallow, and I sat my carved seat like a man carved from the same wood. My wolf paced behind my ribs. "She is not here," he told me, which was the only thing he had said in 3 days. "She is not among them." "Then where," I said under my breath, "is she?" The last trial ended. No hand had claimed the crown. The great doors were barred, the torches guttered, and my steward gave the order that ends every failed rite in every hold across the ranges. Clear the dais, wash the stone, put the relic back to its cold sleep. That was when they sent up the scullery maid. I remember her only because I remember everything of that night now, though I had never once marked her before. She came from the low kitchens with a rag and a pail, a slight woman in a gray shift with soot on one wrist, her hair bound back plain. She kept her eyes down as the highborn never did. She had been told a dais wanted scrubbing, and she had come to scrub it, and she did not know the whole court still sat in the shadows watching the ruin of my hope. She climbed the 7 steps the way one climbs to work, not to be crowned. She knelt at the granite pillow, and to move the crown aside so she could wipe beneath it, she laid her bare hand upon the moonstone. The stone woke. I felt it before I saw it, a warmth that had no source, a heat that came into my own chest as if a banked fire had turned over and found air. My wolf surged up so hard I stood without deciding to, and in her hands the crown that had scorched a dozen proud daughters of the ranges was glowing, soft and silver blue, warming like a living thing that has finally been picked up by the one it was waiting for. She froze, she did not understand. She looked at the light spilling between her fingers as though it might be a fire she had started by accident, something she would be beaten for, and she began, I will never forget this, she began to set it down carefully so as not to break it. "Do not," I said. My voice carried the length of the hall. Every face turned. She looked up and found me on my feet, and I watched her realize how many of us had been sitting in the dark. "I was only cleaning, my king," she said. Her voice shook, but it did not grovel. "I did not touch anything I was not sent to touch." "I know," I said, and I came down from my seat. "Hold it, please, do not set it down." The whole court held its breath as I crossed to the steps. The crown pulsed in time with something in my own chest, her warmth answering in me, my recognition answering in the stone, a single hum passing between the 3 of us like one note sung on 3 strings. My wolf, silent for 3 days, spoke plainly now. "There," he said. "There she is. I did not need him to tell me. I had the proof glowing in a kitchen girl's soot-marked hands." "What is your name?" I asked. "Rena," she said. "Rena," I stopped 1 step below her so that even now she stood higher than her king. "Do you know what you are holding?" She looked at it. "A crown, my lord, the one that hurt the ladies." "The moon crown of Craghold," I said. "It has burned every woman who reached for it since my great-grandfather's time. Proud women, powerful women. Women who wanted it, I let that stand. It has not burned you. I did not reach for it, she whispered. No, I said, you reached for the rag, that may be the whole of the reason. A murmur ran the length of the hall, and I heard the shape of it turn from disbelief toward wonder. The silver-haired beauty's father was on his feet, his face working, but even he could not argue with light. The stone does not flatter. It does not take bribes or spears. It had lain cold under 100 worthy hands, and it had woken warm under this one, and every soul in Craghold could see it. It is a trick, someone called, because someone always must. I turned, and my war chief drew breath to answer, but Rena answered first. If it were a trick, my king, she said, still holding the light like a bowl of water she was afraid to spill, I would have chosen a better dress to be tricked in. The hall broke, not into anger, into something warmer, laughter and awe at once, the sound a frightened people make when they are given back their hope by someone too honest to have planned it. And I laughed too, standing on the step below my fated mate, and my wolf rolled over inside me like a dog in sunlight. Renner of the Low Kitchens, I said when the hall had quieted, the crown has named you. Not I made a promise before all these witnesses that only my true mate could wear the moonstone, and that until it woke I would take no Luna. It has woken, in your hands. Do you understand what that makes you? No, my king, she said honestly. I understand what it makes you feel you must do. Those are not the same thing. She had turned my own vow back on me and made it a question of my honor, and she did it kneeling in a soot-gray shift, and I loved her for it before I loved her for anything else. This is the thing I must be clear about, for the story to be told rightly. The stone chose her, but I did not take her. A crown that wakes is not a rope. So I did the only fitting thing. I knelt. I knelt on the step below her, a king of the ranges in front of a kitchen maid, and I felt the whole hold understand the moment as it happened. I will not put this on your head tonight, I said. You have been told all your life where to stand. I will not command you into being loved. The crown says you are the true Luna of Craghold. My chest says the same. It warmed when the stone warmed in the same breath, and I have never felt the like. But warmth is not a cage. If you set the crown down and walk back to your kitchen, no man here will stop you, and I will keep my promise and wed no one, and that is the end of it. She looked at me for a long moment, this woman the whole court had overlooked, holding the only light in the hall. And if I do not set it down, she asked. Then I will spend the rest of my life, I said, being worthy of a stone that had better sense than all of us. Renner of the Low Kitchens did not set the crown down. She did not put it on that night either. She was wiser than the ladies who had grabbed for it, and she asked for time, and I gave her all she wished. But she carried it down the 7 steps herself, warm and glowing, and my people bowed to a maid in a gray shift, and the hollow at the heart of the hold quietly filled. That was 3 winters ago. She wears the moon crown now, and it is warm every hour she wears it, and warm in my chest to match, that same hum, 1 note on 3 strings, the stone and the woman and the wolf. But it is not the crown I keep. Crowns are cold metal until the right hands find them. What I keep is a line she gave me on the worst night of my hope, when the whole court called her a trick, and she was too honest to be won. I say it to myself still, when I am too proud, when I forget what I am worth and what she is worth, and how little either has to do with a stone. If it were a trick, my king, I would have chosen a better dress. She had the crown, she had my whole heart, and she was worried about the dress.